Harry and Meghan Markle's surrogacy scandal has entered the mainstream media domain.
It sounds fake.
Suppose someone revealed to you that one of the most famous royal arrivals was never the flawless dream the public was promised. Surprising, isn't it? For years, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry have promoted a meticulously scripted account of Archie's arrival, shielded by privacy, cloaked in secrecy, and framed as rebellion against royal tradition. Yet soft murmurs have swelled into fierce accusations. People are now exclaiming, "Wait, none of this makes sense." And once the newest revelations are exposed, you won't simply frown, you'll be stunned into silence. Some insist her children don't even exist, that they're digital fabrications. Those claims are now louder, bolder, and brandished with supposed evidence. This isn't casual palace fan chatter online. It's a larger storm of contradictions, records, and chaotic details.
It's a dreadful thing to do. And
At the heart of this uproar stands none other than Candace Owens. And believe me, she isn't pulling any punches. The moment she glimpsed even a brief snippet of Meghan's tale, Candace admitted she was instantly infuriated. Just a few seconds of footage lit the spark, and she has been relentlessly investigating ever since. Her focus? Meghan's so-called pregnancy account, a version of events she claims is riddled with gaps wide enough to roll a royal carriage straight through. And she's not the only skeptic. Doctors, palace insiders, and even sharp-eyed readers combing through Harry's autobiography are now left questioning the story.
This scandal comes as no surprise. Speculation about the children has been simmering for
These discrepancies aren't minor, they're staggering. They're the sort of outrageous revelations that make medical professionals exclaim, "Hold on, that can't happen," and prompt royal commentators to murmur, "This isn't accidental."
Instantly enraged from this 10-second clip. It just annoyed.
From Harry's own autobiography to murmurs seeping out of hospital hallways, the official timeline doesn't just seem inconsistent, it borders on unbelievable. And that's exactly what makes the whole saga feel so irresistibly scandalous. Because if the account Harry and Meghan presented is this shaky, what other truths could be tucked away?
Doesn't make you sound like a better mom. It makes you sound like really kind of into yourself.
2 separate epidurals, a whirlwind release from the maternity ward, and a trio of shifting explanations for shutting out the media. Spot the pattern? It's a labyrinth of inconsistencies, and the further you descend into it, the more tangled it appears.
this crisis won't die down until the irrefutable truth.
When all the fragments are laid out, the picture isn't a heartwarming royal birth fairy tale at all. Instead, it looks like a network of secrets stitched together with contradictions that keep coming undone. And this is where it turns genuinely unsettling. If even a portion of it doesn't stand up, we're forced to wonder what Harry and Meghan were actually concealing. Because honestly, when the trust of millions of royal watchers is on the line, every small deception cuts deep. And if they really did mislead the public from the very start of Archie's arrival, the polished image they've built is showing cracks wider than the gates of Buckingham Palace.
Describes her very well, and he does this by taking a look.
Absolute media manipulation. But I thought tonight this was really ridiculous.
Hold on, before leaping to conclusions, let's take this apart step by step. Because once the details come into focus, you'll never view Meghan and Harry's account the same way again. And where does it begin? With Harry's own autobiography. In his blockbuster memoir, he paints a vivid scene of Meghan delivering at the exclusive Portland hospital. He recounts her receiving not 1, but 2 epidurals before heading home with newborn Archie only a few hours later. On the page, it reads like a glossy movie script. Resilient heroine, lightning-fast recovery, infant in arms, return to a cozy home. A storyline crafted to evoke admiration. Yet here's the twist. As soon as medical professionals and seasoned mothers read it, Alarm bells rang everywhere.
Palace is being pressured to remove Prince Archie and Princess Elizabeth from the UK's royal line of succession until the Duchess provides absolute proof that she popped out both.
Anyone familiar with childbirth knows an epidural isn't some routine painkiller, but a major procedure in which a catheter is placed beside the spinal cord, and changing one mid-labor is so rare and risky, it's reserved for exceptional cases. Yet Harry casually claims Meghan had 2 of them. He also says she was back at Frogmore Cottage just 2 hours after giving birth. Even though in uncomplicated deliveries, mothers usually remain under hospital observation for at least a full day for paperwork, newborn checks, blood pressure, bleeding, and recovery. And that's before factoring in the long drive from central London's Portland Hospital to Windsor. Added together, the timings and details don't just seem off, they look impossible. And those inconsistencies snowballed into bigger questions. While Harry's version raised eyebrows, Meghan's handling of the press lit the fuse. Royal baby protocol normally requires informing the Queen first, drafting an official announcement, and alerting the media straight away. But when Archie arrived, that tradition evaporated, and Meghan gave not 1, but 3 completely different explanations: privacy, medical issues, and then yet another story for why the press was kept out.
3 completely different accounts for a single royal birth. Confusing, right? Even journalists who usually tread lightly around palace matters were left scratching their heads. Some were told Archie had already arrived hours before, while others were given the opposite line, claiming Meghan was still in labor when she wasn't. This wasn't mere carelessness, it was utter chaos. And chaos is not how the monarchy functions. Normally, every statement, move, and announcement is executed with clockwork precision. But here, everything was smoke, mirrors, and glaring contradictions. That's when suspicions intensified. Was this mix-up truly about privacy, or a deliberate attempt to conceal the actual circumstances of Archie's birth? The story becomes even murkier when examining Portland Hospital itself. Rewinding to Harry's claim about Meghan having 2 epidurals, medical professionals have been quick to speak out on just how unusual and risky that scenario really is.
For anyone unfamiliar, an epidural isn't a quick injection. It's a precise medical procedure. A catheter is placed near the spinal cord to provide continuous pain relief, and once inserted, it generally remains in place. Pulling it out and restarting mid-labor only happens under serious complications. Medical professionals have said Harry's account doesn't add up. Switching epidurals in the middle of labor is not just rare, it's risky. If Meghan truly went through that, her recovery should have been slower, more intensive, and closely supervised, which makes the allegedly rapid return home all the more implausible. Yet in Harry's book, it's treated as a minor detail, as if it barely matters in the otherwise flawless royal birth narrative. Critics have dismissed it as either a clear misrepresentation or a dramatized embellishment meant to make the birth appear more remarkable than reality. The reality? Multiple epidurals should have prevented such a swift discharge. Risks like nerve damage, infection, or blood pressure complications would have demanded extended observation. So either Harry misunderstood the events entirely, or the story was deliberately crafted to seem extraordinary. And then there's the larger red flag, the recovery itself. Childbirth is far from easy, and even in the smoothest deliveries, doctors don't simply send a new mother home immediately. She's closely monitored for at least 24 hours. If Meghan experienced complications, such as the preeclampsia she has mentioned herself, doctors would have kept her hospitalized far longer. Preeclampsia isn't trivial. It can be life-threatening, causing seizures, organ failure, and dangerous spikes in blood pressure, often requiring monitoring for days or even weeks. So when Harry claims Meghan delivered, underwent multiple interventions, and was home almost immediately, medical professionals flagged it as reckless and implausible. Adding to the inconsistency, Meghan has publicly emphasized maternal health and proper postpartum care. If her story is accurate, it contradicts her own advocacy. And if false, it presents a polished PR narrative rather than reality. The discrepancies alone are glaring. And just when it seems the story couldn't get stranger, whispers begin emerging from inside Portland Hospital. Anonymous staffers say their accounts don't align with Harry and Meghan's glossy version. For instance, Harry mentioned ordering late-night gourmet meals, yet insiders insist that while Portland serves quality food, it doesn't operate like a 24/7 luxury kitchen, and the specific items he described were never on the menu. Then there's the so-called secret elevator he described, a dramatic, hidden escape route. Longtime staff, however, confirm no such passage exists. Discrete corridors are present, but nothing resembling a cinematic escape system. Individually, these may seem like minor inconsistencies, but collectively they paint a worrying picture. A story crafted for public consumption rather than reality. Even a supposed hospital insider has hinted that Meghan's stay was far less sensational than depicted. Candace Owens has been particularly vocal, arguing bluntly that if the small details crumble under scrutiny, why should anyone accept the larger narrative? Was the royal couple exaggerating for sympathy, shaping the story to control perception, or concealing something far deeper that they never intended the public to discover? At this point, the contradictions are piling up, and the inconsistencies are impossible to ignore. People are demanding clarity. If the timeline doesn't make sense, if the hospital accounts contradict themselves, and if staff members are hinting at an entirely different story, then the question remains, why? Why would Meghan and Harry go to such lengths to distort the truth about something as intimate as the birth of their child? Some argue it was about control. In a world where the palace manages every detail, perhaps Meghan and Harry wanted to shape this one story on their terms. Others suggest it was about generating sympathy, portraying Meghan as a woman enduring impossible circumstances under intense scrutiny. And there are whispers that it wasn't just about Meghan, that it was about shielding the monarchy from truths deemed too messy to reveal. Whatever the motive, the outcome is the same. Rather than silencing critics, these inconsistencies have fueled them. Every blurred detail, every shifting timeline, every exaggerated element has strengthened perceptions of dishonesty. Once trust is broken, it is extremely hard to restore. Candace Owens has tapped into this skepticism, amplifying doubts that had been simmering for years. Because if the couple can't be forthright about a birth, what else might be hidden? And so we arrive here. From Harry's memoir and its contradictions to the strange hospital accounts, Meghan's pregnancy story is riddled with inconsistencies. Whether seen as careless storytelling or a deliberately crafted fairy tale, one fact remains: the truth lies buried beneath a tangle of confusion. Candace Owens didn't invent these questions. She simply illuminated the whispers that have circulated for years. Every contradictory timeline, every medical improbability, every inconsistent narrative from that day combines into a story that reads less like a birth and more like a cover-up. And the part that chills? This saga is not the only reason people are questioning Meghan. If you thought the drama ended there, hold on. The next controversy swirling around Meghan involves her age. Even her father, Thomas Markle, has entered the fray with allegations that could topple her carefully maintained public image. So, where does that leave us? A royal pregnancy account packed with medically questionable claims. A memoir that feels more like a theatrical script than a factual chronicle, long-standing palace protocols ignored without explanation, hospital staff disputing the polished story, and a public left bewildered, suspicious, and increasingly doubtful. Candace Candace Owens may have sparked this latest wave, but the impact keeps spreading. Once the veneer of perfection cracks, no amount of spin can hold it together.